Welcome to the demonstration for investigating save sets and single instance storage. This demonstration reinforces the concepts covered in the Enterprise Vault 10 for Exchange Administration course. In this demonstration, you investigate how Symantec Enterprise Vault stores files and provides optimized single instance storage. The sections included within this demonstration are creating and archiving email for sharing, exploring the file structure associated with archiving, and the single instance storage. In this demonstration, you investigate the save sets created on Enterprise Vault server for a particular archived item. Then look at how single instance storage works in the Information Management Vault store. In a later demonstration, we will investigate single instance storage between the two Vault stores. This demonstration requires you to move between the user workstation, which is named Client, and the Enterprise Vault server named Server 2 Machines. It is important that on production systems, save sets are not damaged or deleted. Always be careful if you must browse the contents of a Vault store partition. We're going to be starting off on the Enterprise Vault server, EV Server 2. We have the Enterprise Vault Administration console open, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at the properties of the current Vault stores. So we have the Information Management Vault store, which has a sharing type of share within group, and we have Corporate Compliance, which has share within group as well. In an earlier lesson, we went through and looked at how we would change those if we wish to. We'll just revisit that real quick. So I'll open up the properties of the EV server group, go to the Properties option, and for configuring sharing, you come up and you click on the Sharing tab. Again, you can see here I do have the current sharing level, share within group, for both the Corporate Compliance and Information Management Vault stores. But to look at what my options would be, I can click on the Configure Sharing button, start the Configure Sharing wizard, and I click Next. And I can come up and look at the three different options for sharing that I have. And again, we discussed these in more detail in an earlier lesson. I have no sharing, share within Vault store, and share within group. We're going to leave them set for all the Vault stores to share within group because we want to show single instance storage between Vault stores in a later demonstration. So then I can just come down and cancel out of this by clicking cancel and then clicking cancel a second time. Next, we're going to look at the current structure of the Vault store partitions and their file locations. So I'll open up a Windows Explorer. And then when we were setting up the Vault partitions in an earlier lesson, we'd save those on our E drive. So I'll click on Computer, and then I can open up the E drive by double-clicking on it. And then we created a folder named Enterprise Vault Stores, so I can open that up. And you can see that each Vault store has a separate folder that's available for the Vault store partitions. We're looking at information management because we're looking at email. We set up the Corporate Compliance Vault store to be for journaling, so we'll look at that in a later demonstration. So if I open up the Information Management folder, you can see we've now started our file hierarchy for the items that we're archiving. At the highest level within the Vault store folder is going to be a folder that represents the year. So in this case here, we've got 2011. So if I open that up, the next level is going to be a month and day folder. So I can go ahead and open up that folder. And now we're at the level of the first letter or number of the save set ID. So we'll open up one of those folders, one that starts with C. And then underneath that folder, we have the next three numbers in the save set ID. So once I open up that folder, you can see that every file in this folder starts with C157. So every folder in this list has those first four characters. Now the first file that we're looking at or have highlighted here is a .dvs. This is the unique part of the message that is saved as a save set file. We then can come down and see that we do have a file that is a shared part, and it is a DVSSP file extension for the shared parts. And we also have a file that is our converted content, and it has the DVSCC file extension. Now what we want to do is we want to switch over to the client and send an email see that email get archived as an individual message, and then we're going to go ahead and send some copies of that message and see how the single instance storage works. So I'll go ahead and switch over to the client. In this client, we're currently logged on as Diana Palmer, which is D. Palmer. And for D. Palmer, what we're going to do is we're going to send an email so that we can see how that particular message will be stored in the single instance storage, and then we can create copies of that or send copies of that and see how the single instance storage handles that. So I'll click my new email button here. I'll come down and specify some recipients, and we're going to send the message to Diana Palmer, Pei Wong, and Graham Smith. And then we'll type in a subject line for our message: testing optimized single instance storage. And then we'll go ahead and add a message. And our message is that we are sending you a copy of the Enterprise Vault 10 Administrator's Guide. And I've chosen the Enterprise Vault Administrator's Guide because at this particular point, if I was to send and archive this message, it probably would not exceed the single instance storage threshold, which is by default set at 20 kilobytes. So we want to put in something that's bigger than 20 kilobytes so that we will in fact get that shared part as well as the content conversion. So I'm going to go and insert a file. So I click my insert tab on the Office ribbon. I can click my attach file button. And then we'll send the Enterprise Vault Administrator's Guide. So I can go to my computer, and I happen to have that on the installation media on my CD drive E. So I open that up, and then we'll go to our Enterprise Vault 10.0 folder, open that up, and then we'll select the documentation folder, open that. We'll select our language, and for this demonstration, we'll select English. And we'll go into our Administrator Guides folder, and we'll select the Adobe Acrobat version of the Administrator's Guide. And now I can see that I've got the message that I wish to send. So I can go ahead and click the Send Message. And we just have to wait a moment or two for that to be received here in our Outlook. And now we have the message in Outlook. And what we want to do is we wish to archive that message. So I'll go ahead and select the message. Then I'll come up here and click my Enterprise Vault tab on my Office ribbon. And in an earlier demonstration, we had removed the Store and Vault button from the ribbon. So we have to go through the More Actions option and select Store and Vault. And you can see that our icon is changed to Shortcut Pending. And because we have the mailbox policy set up to remove safety copies immediately for the demonstrations that we're doing, it should switch over here to a shortcut. Now once it has switched over to a shortcut, you can see that again in the mailbox policy that applies to Diana Palmer, I can come over and put my mouse over View Original Item, and it gives me details about where the original item is. And you can also see that it's going to have the View Message Active Server page. That's what's going to be called when I retrieve a message using this link. What we're interested in noticing at this particular point is the first 4 characters that are part of the safe set ID, and that's 7153. So once I've got those first 4 characters selected, I'm going to go ahead and close Outlook. And now I've also switched back over to the Enterprise Vault server, and we're going to navigate and see if we can see that message that we just got done archiving. So I'll go to my computer here. Actually, I'm going to click on the Information Management up here. And that takes us right into where we can go to our year. So we're back to 2011. And you can see that I have a new folder that wasn't there before for the date that I archived this particular message on. So this is my month and day folder. So I go ahead and click on that. And you remember that when we were looking at the Safe Set ID, the first character that we were interested in was a 7. So I have my 7 folder. I can click on that, and there's the next 3 characters, the 153. I can go ahead and click on that. And you can see that I have 3 different files. I have the Save Set, which is the unique part of the message as a DVS. I have some converted content, which has the DVSCC file extension, and I have the shared part, which has the DVSSP file extension. Now the next thing we want to do is go back to the client. So now we're back on the client, and we want to open up, or actually we need to log off and log on as Graham Smith. So I'll come down here to my Start button. I'll select my arrow here to give me the option to log off. I'll go ahead and select Log Off. And it takes me to where I have to press Control-Alt-Delete to log on. Again, we're using virtual machines to provide the demonstrations here. So I'll go up to the Virtual Machine menu, and I will send my Control-Alt-Delete to the virtual machine. And my login comes on. But again, we said that we wish to log in as Graham Smith. So I can go ahead and click my Switch User, and then click on Other User. Specify Graham Smith's logon, which is going to be example \G Smith. I can then type in Graham's password, then click my arrow to log in, and now I'm logged in as Graham Smith. So we'll go ahead and we'll open up our Outlook message that was sent to Graham from Diana Palmer. So I click my Start, go to my All Programs, select my Microsoft Office program group, and then I can select Outlook. Now once the Outlook is opened up, one of the first things I notice here is that there is not any Enterprise Vault tab on the Office ribbon. And in a previous demonstration, we discussed this, but just for review, remember that if you're operating in Exchange cache mode, the first time that you open up after you've installed the Outlook add-ins on the client, you may not see the Enterprise Vault tab. So we must close and reopen Outlook. So I'll go ahead and close Outlook. Come back down to my Start menu again. Select my All Programs. Select my Microsoft Office product group. And go ahead and open Microsoft Outlook 2010. And now I have the Enterprise Vault tab. Now what I'm going to do before I actually archive anything here is I'm going to go ahead and forward this to another user, just again to show you the different things that you can do with the message and how when we archive that message at different locations, I'll still get that single instance storage. So I'll go ahead and forward this, and I'm going to send it to a user named Liz Waldron. And I'll give Liz a message to know why I'm forwarding this to her. And we'll say that you were missed on the initial list there. Then I can go ahead and hit send. And instead of archiving the message here from the inbox, I'm going to go ahead and go to my Sent Items folder and archive the message from that point. So I come up to the Office ribbon, click on the Enterprise Vault tab. Once again, you can see that Liz Waldron doesn't have the Store button on the ribbon. However, we do have it available by clicking on the More Actions, and then we can select Store and Vault. Now, this is the first time we've archived anything as Graham Smith, so we'll go ahead and say that we do not need to see this message in the future. We'll go ahead and click OK. You can see that the message switches over to a pending shortcut, and now it's an actual shortcut. We now have the banner in the archived message, which means we can mouse over the View Original Item, and it will open up our pop-up. Once again, we're looking for those first 4 characters that are going to be used as part of the folder structure. And here I have 90DD. So now I can go ahead and go back over and close Outlook here. Once Outlook is closed, I'm then going to go ahead and log on as Liz Waldron and look at her mail and archive that message I just sent. So we'll go ahead and go to our Start, click our arrow next to Shutdown to allow us to select Log Off. Again, using the virtual machine login screen, I will select the Send Control-Alt-Delete. We need to switch over to Liz Waldron. So we'll click Switch User, select our Other User option, type in Liz Waldron's login, example \L Waldron, type in her password, click our arrow to log in, and we will open up Outlook again by clicking Start, then All Programs, the Microsoft Office group, and Microsoft Outlook 2010. Once again, we note that Liz Waldron means it's the first time we've logged into her mail since installing the Enterprise Vault Outlook add-ins, but it's not available on the Office ribbon, so I have to close it and restart it. So I close the window, come back to start up Outlook again by going to Search or Correction Start, then All Programs, the Microsoft Office Program Group, and then selecting Microsoft Outlook 2010. Now when it opens up, you can see that we do have the Enterprise Vault tab on the Office ribbon. We have received the Graham Smith forwarded message. So we'll go ahead and archive that by clicking our More Actions button and selecting the Store in Vault. Once again, the first time that we've archived anything, so we'll go ahead and place a check and Do Not Show This Message again. Click our OK. The shortcut goes to Pending Archive, and after a period of time, it'll switch over to the shortcut icon. And then we need to grab that first 4 characters of the save set ID. So we come over and mouse over View Original Item. And for this message, as it was archived, its first 4 characters are 90F9. So now we're going to go ahead and go back to the Enterprise Vault server. And now we're back on the Enterprise Vault server, and we'll go ahead and navigate to that new location. So we'll expand My Computer, expand the E drive, expand our Enterprise Vault stores, and again we are expanding the Information Management PTN2 folder, which is where our partition was defined as its partition location. We see our year, so go ahead and expand that, 2011. You can see we have our 2 month-day folders, but the one that we're currently working in is 628. So I expand 628. And now I see that I have the folder starting with the number 9. So I can go ahead and click on the 9. And then I have the 2 folders for the next 2 levels, which are the 0DD, which was G. Smith's archived message from the sent items, and the 09F9, which was L. Waldron's message that was archived. If I go and look at the contents of the 0DD folder, I can see that I only have a DVS file. Now, even though it was the same message that was archived by Diana Palmer originally, I do not have to restore the content conversion or the shared part, because I've recognized those of having the same fingerprint. So therefore, I will just make a reference to those 2 files whenever I need to retrieve the message for Graham Smith. And if I look at the files inside of the 0F9, which is Liz Waldron's, once again, I do not see any converted content or shared part, only the unique per user safe set part. Again, this means that I have saved that particular file and made a reference to the 2 other files, the shared part and the converted content parts. And that brings us to the end of this lab.